Great. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the day two of Flutter Festivals under GDSCMIT. And today's agenda will be shopping app showcase. That means we will be giving you a brief overview of what app you will be creating throughout these other days. Dart language continued. Yesterday we covered the basics of Dart, and today we will continue with the same. We hope that you understood something from yesterday's lecture and you took something from it. If you have any doubts, just type them in the chat. If you have any questions, just type them in the Q&A. Installation of Flutter, we had shared a document with you all in your groups. So if you have installed Flutter, great. If not, kindly refer to that document and get started with it. Tabish, can you share the link of Dartpad in the chat?
Yeah, once again, I'll share it.
Right. And we did some basic code yesterday on Dart, and I'm sure you all understood some of it because I know you are new to this language, like you are new to programming as well. But we are starting at a pace, we're doing this course at a pace that a beginner can also understand. Let's just wait for 2 more minutes so that others can join, and till that time you can access the dartpad link. Also, in yesterday I had shared the repository code, like depository link of Tabish's account. Like, he will be posting all the codes that he does here there, so you can refer to that. Please be sure that you don't copy paste the codes because it wouldn't be fruitful for you or us. So just be honest to the course, be committed to the course, and I'm sure we will have a great week ahead. So I'll just stop here and we'll wait for 2 minutes. Tabish, till the time we're not starting, can you present the day two agenda slide? Great, thanks. Also, till the time we start, I have pasted the link for day three. Kindly RSVP to the day three link. Please be sure that we don't, we don't have to send reminders again and again. Tabish, I think we can start. So I'll just introduce our Flutter facilitator. He is Mohammed Tabish Khande. He took this session yesterday also. Again, if you have any questions, type them in the Q&A. Today we'll be doing a hands-on session properly, so please be sure to be present. And at any point, if you face any doubts, just type them in the chat. Over to you, Tabish.
Yeah, thank you, Devani, for introducing me. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'm Tabish, and today we'll be continuing with the day two. So, first of all, in our agenda, we have this app, shopping app, which we'll be creating in this series of event. I will first of all showcase you this app so that you guys see what we are going to build. So, I will just open my Android emulator, and I will show you the app. So if you guys have visited this link for installing Flutter, there was one uh, uh, download here for downloading this Android Studio. Yeah, here. So when you download it under Studio, you get this application by which you can create your emulators. So I'm just opening this emulator right now. You have to go to the configure and then the AVD manager. Then this is my emulator. You need to play and it will start the Android emulator. Yeah. So basically, this is the app which we are going to create. Here, this is an app for shopping of the sneakers or shoes. There are five brands: Nike, Adidas, Puma, Vans, and Reebok. So you can go to the different brands. You can slide this, scroll this and choose different brands, and you can also see other images or other products. Then if you want to purchase something, so you can click on this and you get the bigger picture with the price and some dummy text here. Now if you want to purchase more than one, so you can increase the quantity here, or if you want to add this product in your wish list, so you can also uh, hit this icon star and it will be added to your wish list. So all this app is created first of all with the Flutter and also with the Firebase. All these images that are present here are coming from the Firebase, and the data which is here, the price $100, $95, $124, all these also in the backend, which is present on the Firebase. So if you go to the Firebase console here, then you see here this on the left side, you see their Firestore database. If you click here, you can see one collection here of shoes, and this is all the data we have, all the shoes and their details, like this brand is Nike and its image and its price. Then you can see other as well. So all this data comes from this backend. Also, now the question is where I have stored that images. They are also coming from the Firebase storage. So if you go here, storage, and then see, I have created these five folders, and in each folder there is image of the products. Like this is first image, and this is other images. I can show you this image also. So this is the backend of this application. Now, for using the storage, I have used this. You can also use storage of Google Cloud or any other platform. It's up to you. You just need to store and you need to provide the link in the app. So this was the application and the backend connectivity to the Firebase. You don't need to worry right now. You know how this app is working. I will show you all in this series of events, and we will create this app together. So you don't have to worry about it right now. Now, the second thing in our agenda was about the Dart language. So there are some other concepts also, like functions, classes. So we will discuss them today, and then we will jump straight to the Flutter. Now let me just delete all these code from yesterday. Void main is the starting point of your program, just like in the C language. Now the first concept today we are going to start is about functions. So I think you all guys have already heard about functions in C language. Functions are similar here also, and also in other programming language. Functions are just a block of code which we use when we have some repetition of logic in our code. For example, if you want to sum two numbers 10 times in your code, so there are two ways you can do that. First is you can sum them in every time in the program, and that will, I think, make, if you have 10, if you have to do 10 sums, then you have to write 10 lines of code. So if you want to change that, if you want to just sum or some you have to convert that all the 10 lines into single line of code, you can use function, so that you don't have to repeat your logic again and again. For example, if I show you, there are two numbers. In num1 equals 20, in num2 equals 30. So if I want to create a function that can add these two numbers, you have to simply, the syntax is similar to the C language. First of all, you have to write the return type. Return type of sum of two integers will be integer. Then you can write sum of numbers. It is a function name. Then you have to give the arguments. First argument is number one. Then you have to give the second argument. It's number two. Then you have to simply return the sum of these two numbers, num1 plus num2. Now, in order to use the function, you have to call the function. So, function calling. This declaring function is called declaring and defining the function. In the C language, I think you have to declare first, then you have to define, then you have to define the function. But in the Dart language, you have to declare and define at at only one time. Okay. So now you have to call the function. So function calling is done with the name of the function, sum of numbers. Then you have to give the argument num1, comma num2. So in order to print this result, first of all, we will store the result in some other integer. Let's say it's result. Now we have to print the result. You can do print result. I will run this code, you will see that the sum of these two numbers will come on the console here. Yeah, see here 50. Now the other use of function, is to uh, make your code efficient. By if you have two three places at your code when you have to call some lines of code that are repeated, so you can create a function, and in this way your program will be efficient and you don't have to repeat code again and again. Now I will show you other example. Let's say I'm lazy and I don't want to write print every time I want to print any integer. So I can create my own function like p and take some data like var data, because I don't know what this data will be, so I'm using var. Then I will print data. Now every time I have to print something, there are I will use only p, like p. Uh, let's say first we'll have two numbers. Num1 equals 10. Num2 equals 20. And we can also have string. Let's say name for the semicolon here. Okay. Now, if I want to print, I can simply use p and give the argument here. I can use p and give the second argument. I can use p and give the third argument. Now I can run and you will see it will. Okay, I have used the return type in, but this function will not return anything. So for not return anything, you can use void return type if you don't want to return anything for the function. So if I hit run again, you see it has printed 10, 20,
Hi,
and
Tavish.
my name.
Can you
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
the difference to them between returning and printing?
Okay, okay. So printing is simply, if you want to print something, you can just write print and it will print the data. But what is return? Return is something, if you want to do some logic in your code, like I can do here, I can write print the result here also. and I don't if I don't want to return, so it's void. It will also work, but there are some, you will face some problems in your when you code in the Dart. You don't have to print in the function, but you need to print in other place at the function. For example, let me show you an example. If you have this function with a return type int, and you will return the sum of these two numbers. Now let me comment. Sorry, not all. Let me comment this. Now, if you want to, there are three numbers. If you want to add these three numbers, I will show you why you need return type in a function. Now, if you want to print the result, first of all, you need to call the function for two numbers. Let's say int result equals sum of numbers. We are calling the function for giving us the result of num1 plus num2. Then the result will be stored in this result. Okay, you can keep its name result1, but the sum of these two numbers is to be added with the third number. So for that, you can again write int result2 equals, you can add the number 3 plus result1. And now if you will print the result2, you will see the addition of these three numbers. See, 40, 20 plus 10 plus 10 is 40. So here we know, you use a return type. So in the similar way, when you code in the Flutter, there will be some places where you don't want to print the result directly. You need that result somewhere else in the program. So in that case, you will use a return type in that function, and return the value, and then use that return value in other place in your program. So this is the use of this return type. But if you don't want to return something, you just need to write a return type void, just as I used here in this p function, because I want to just print and do not return any data. So you can use this way also. You can use the function in this way also. So this was about the return types. You can use int, you can use string, you can use double. You can when you I will show you what are classes. Then you can use your own data types also. So you can use void also. So this was all about the basics of function. And now you can have different types of functions. Like, you can create functions for checking if a number is a prime number, or you can create a function for checking if it's an Armstrong number, or you can create function for Fibonacci series. So you can do one thing. You can take that as homework, so you can practice those at your free time. By using the Dart language, you can create all those functions and use them in your code. So that will be your homework if you want to practice the syntax of this Dart language. Now, other thing that I have to discuss before I move on to the Flutter is about classes. Have any of you already heard about classes? Or oops, explain again. Arjuman, okay, I will explain you the functions again. So as I said, functions are nothing but these are the set of lines which you use to do not repeat a logic again and again in your program. For example, I said that if you have to do summation of two numbers, or if you have to check a number is a prime or not. So if you don't use functions and you have to check a prime number 10 times in your program, let's say to check a prime number, you require 5 lines of code. So to check the number is a prime or not 10 times, you need to do 5 into 10, it's 50 lines of code. But if you use functions and you set that 5 lines of logic in a function, and you need to check 10 times the prime number is a prime number, is a number prime or not. So you just use that function and reduce the 50 lines of code in just 5 lines. So this is a use of functions to reduce the code and make the code more modular. Now I said then there are different types of functions. First, you can have a function that returns something, or function which don't return something. The functions which don't return something have a return type of void, and the functions which return something can have return types of data types like int, double, string, or any other user defined data type. Yeah, so this was about the functions. Have you guys heard about classes or oops? No. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Just like in C++, we have classes or the OOPS object-oriented programming object-oriented programming. Similarly, we also have classes here also. But I think in C we have structures. Have you guys studied structures in C? No. Yes. Yeah, if you don't have studied structures, no problem. I will discuss the use of structures. Structures are basically used to create user-defined data types. There are data types like int, double, string, boolean. They are the predefined data types. So they only store data which is already defined by the programming language creator which has created a language. For example, this int, it can only store one number. Now, if I use string data type and add this, what if I want to store two names in a single variable? Like in this name, I want to store other name like Jack. Is this possible? No, it shows error here because this predefined data type only can store one variable. So in what if you want to create as variable which can store and your name also and your age also. In that cases, you require structures, but in Dart we don't have structures. We have classes. So classes can be used to create user-defined data types. Classes can be used to create user-defined data types. So I will show you an example. To create a class, you need to write class, then the class name. Let's say we keep biodata, and now you need to add what kind of variables you want to store. Let's say I want to store string name, and then I want to store age. Now this is a user defined. I have defined this data type. Now to initialize these variables, I need to use a concept called constructor. So this constructor is used to set the data in these variables. So constructor has a name similar to the class. It doesn't have a return type, and it takes two arguments because we need to set these two arguments. So we had take two arguments in the constructor. First will be name, and second will be age. Here you can make use of this variable, this keyword. So what is this? This actually means this variable, okay? The variable inside a class, because you can have more than two or more than three classes, so they can have also the similar variable name. But in order to make distinction between the variable of other classes and this class, you need to write this keyword. It means this the variable of this class. So this is this dot name is equal to name. So I am giving this name here and this passing this to the class variable and this age to the class age. So it shows some error here. Let me see. Non-available instance name is to be initialized. I don't know why this error is happening here. Let me see. Bio this dot name. Yeah, I think the syntax is a little bit different here. So in order to initialize those, two variables, you have to use this syntax. So this dot name means this name, and this dot age means this age. Now, in order to use this, you need to create objects of the class. So you can think class also as a blueprint, and then you can, in order to use that blueprint, you need to create objects. So in order to create an object, you use final or the class name first, then the object name, let's say b1 is equal to then the class name again, biodata, and then you need to pass these two arguments, first name and then age. Let me I use here, let me delete this, let me give name Jack, and let me give age 18. Now again, okay. Now, in order to, now you see we have created this our own data type, biodata. It's a data type, and in this data we have stored two variables in a single variable. So this is called user defined data types, because we can I can also write address or phone number and store all those kinds of data in a single variable. So here we use the classes. Now, in order to see what's inside this, we can use print b1 dot name, print b1 dot age. This will print the values of name and age which we have given here. Jack, see here, Jack and 18. Now there is other thing also, in you can also create functions in classes. Like if I create a function get data and then print, actually let me do one thing. Let me do like this, name equals name, and print other variable also, which is age. Now I have created this function. So if I want to print the variables inside the function, I don't need to do like this one by one. So I can simply do v1, which is the object name or the name we have given here. Then we have to just call this function get data. This will also do the same thing. If you run this program, this will print the name and age. Here on the console, you can see name is Jack and age is 18. So this was about the classes. So remember, classes can be used to create user-defined data types. In order to use a class, you need to write this class keyword, then the class name, then the variables that you want to store in it. Then you can use constructor to initialize these variables with some data. Then you can also have functions in a class which can be used to, which can be used for different purposes. Let's say we have other variable called uh, let's say we have age 2. Now we have to take initialize this also with something, this dot age 2. We can print it also, age 2 is dollar age 2. We will give age 2 here also. Let's say we give 20. Now I have used this void function here to print something. I can also use it to return something. Let's say I want to return the sum of two ages. So I can do like this, int get some function name, get sum of ages. Okay, then I can return age plus age 2. Okay, now to print I can use print b1 dot get sum of ages. Now if I run this function, if I run this code, you can see I will get the result. First of all, I get a name, age, and age 2. Then I get the summation of ages also. So in this way, you can use function in the classes also, or outside of the class, you can also use them. And you can use classes for only for creating this user defined data types also. That's up to use case, and you will use in your app when you write the code, and you can use that in your code accordingly. So this was about the classes. Now there is other concept of classes also here, which is called inheritance. Inheritance just means that, if you have two classes, and you want to inherit some data from the first class, so that is called inheritance, inheriting some data from other classes. You will also learn about these concepts in, I think, in third semester, when you will learn about C++. There you have this concept of oops. But today I need to cover it little bit, because this concept will be used in our Flutter app application development. So I will show you the concept of oops also here. So let me say I have one class called vehicle. Okay, then you have these variables inside the vehicle class. For example, you have model. For what is the model of the vehicle you want to add in this class. Then let's say you have sorry, in price. Okay, now you can also have like function here. First of all, you have to write the constructor here, vehicle this dot model, in order to set the values of these variables. This dot price. Okay, now you can also have a function, uh, print data. Then you can print the data here. Like you can print the model. You can also print the price. Okay. Now we have, let's say we have other function class. We have car. Now you want to inherit these properties, like you want to inherit model and price and this function from this vehicle class. To inherit these properties, you have to use a keyword called extends vehicle. So you can have arguments in this class also. Like you can have can you can have string. You can have uh, like here, like when the car was built, so for initializing this variable, you have to write, again you have to create a constructor. So for this class, as you extend from the vehicle, so it has also these three properties: model, price, and this year. So because we have already taken these two variables in this vehicle constructor, so we don't have to take again here. You can just inherit those like this. You have to write string model, comma, string price, and then this dot year. Then write this super, and then you have to write what you want to inherit from the parent class, model and price. So this syntax, I will explain the syntax again. So first you have this class vehicle. Okay, you have two arguments, model and price. Okay, then you have this constructor that is used to set the values of these variables, and you have this function which is used to print these two variables. Then you have other class car, which is extending this vehicle, which means it inherits all these properties from the parent class. So a class which extends from other class is known as child class, and the class from which it extends is called the parent class. So here it is inheriting all these properties inside it. So first of all, I am creating a new variable here year. Now in order to initialize all these, we are using this super keyword, which means that the value of model is same which is in the superclass model, and the value of this price is also same which is in the superclass. It's showing some error. Let me see. Okay, sorry. So this price was an integer. So this means that the value of model is same that is in the parent class, and the value of price is same in the that is in the parent class. But this value of this year will be given by the constructor of the car itself. So this is how you write a constructor of a subclass. Now, in order to print the data inside the class, inside this class, you can again have a function print data. Then you can print. First of all, you need to print these two also. So, okay. So for printing these, you will tell the program to use the function which is in the parent class. So for this, again, you have to use super dot print data. This line of code means go to the parent class and call this function. So it will go to this class, and it will call this print data function, and model and price will be printed on the screen. Then we also want to print the value of year. Okay, but I am seeing something. This blue line here. If I hover into this, it is showing annotate override members. So if you see the function name here, print data, and the function name in the parent class is same, which means it is showing some warning because we are using same function two times. To remove this warning, you can use override keyword. This override keyword means use the override the parent function and use this function name. Now, if I run this function, nothing will be printed here because I have not created objects of this class. So in order to create the objects, you need to again do same thing like car c1 equals car, and then you need to give all the if you hover here, it says give the three position arguments. So you need to give the three position arguments, like you need to give model, then price, then year. Let me say model is BMW X3. Then you need to give price. Let me say price is $30,000. Then you have to give uh, year. Let me say year is 2022. So okay, this year is also integer. Now this is set. Now if I want to print, if I want to call the if I want to call this print data function, I will simply do c1 dot print data. And now if I will run this code, we will see the details of the car will be printed. Here BMW, this is the model name, then you have the price, and then you have the year of the model. So this was about the classes, how you can inherit your parent class into the child class, then how you can create objects of the class. Do you guys have questions till now? Any questions about classes or objects? Okay, please repeat the object in the class. So just remember that classes are used to create user-defined data types, because predefined data types cannot be used For example, I showed the example if you have to store two numbers in a single variable. Let's say if you use int data type and you give it a name nums, then you cannot do like this. You cannot store two things in it. It will show some error because it's not created for this purpose. But if you want to store uh, two integers in a single variable, or an integer, a string, or a double, or a boolean in a single variable, so for that purpose you need user defined data types. So for creating the user defined data types you need classes. So classes are used to create user defined data types. They have other functions also. You will learn about them in your next semester, and when you will learn about the oops. Now I said that for using the for create class is just a blueprint, but for using a class you need to create objects. So for creating an object you need to uh, first you need to give the class name, then this is the object name, then you have to give again the class name and pass the arguments which you want to, which you have already defined in the class. For example, in the car, I have given these three arguments. First is the model, this, then we have the $30,000, this is the price, then you have the other argument which is the year of production. So this is the way how you can, create objects. Objects are used to use the class. So this is the user defined variable name C1. You can have other names also like C2, like, or car1, car2. It's up to you. Then I said for there are in classes you can also create functions. For example, I have created this function print data in order to print the variables inside the function. And you can also create, for example, here in this biodata class I created a function with int return type. You can also return something from a class, like I use this function get sum of ages to return sum of two ages to the object where it's using it. Here I think I deleted it. So this was about the classes. Don't worry if you feel overwhelming by these concepts. Don't worry, because you will learn about this in your next semesters. Just take a brief idea what are classes and why it's used in of programming languages. Just take a brief idea. So this was about the you know functions and classes. Let me see what we have else left in the agenda. Okay, now we have the installation of Flutter. So for the installing Flutter, you need to go to this link. I think Devani has already shared this in your groups, but I will also share it again if you have missed that. Okay, for this is for the Windows. If you have any other operating system, you can simply write install Flutter, then go to these docs. Now there are different operating systems like Chrome OS, Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. In my case, I have Windows. You need to click to the Windows. In my system, Flutter is already installed, so I will just give you an brief overview. But if you find any difficulty, there are tons of tutorials on the YouTube and other platforms. You can see how to install Flutter there also. But if you still face any problem, you can ping me. I will help you in that case. So for installing Flutter in your operating system, you need some I think Windows 7 or later. Then you need to have a disk space of 1.64 GB. Then you need some tools like PowerShell and Git. These two programs should also be installed on your system. Then there is a Flutter SDK. You need to click here, and this SDK, it's about 890 MB. This will be installed. This will be downloaded. Then you need to install it. Here are the steps given. First you need to download, then extract. You can go along with this document. Then you need to update your path. Then you need to run this command, flutter doctor. Then you need to go on install Android Studio, then set up your Android device. It's all shown here how to do everything. What is how to create an AVD. Go to Android Studio, click AVD manager. Then you need to accept or agree to the Android licenses here and go on. So if you find, as I said, if you find any difficulty, you can see any tutorial from the YouTube how to install Flutter. I'm not going to explain how to install because it will take a lot of time here. But if you any face any difficulty, just ping me. I will help you there. So after you install the Android Studio, you can open it. Then you have here in config. First, I will show you how to create a virtual device. So for creating a virtual device, you need to go to the configuration, then select this AVD manager. Then it will open this interface. Then to create a new AVD, you just need to go to this plus icon and click it. Then you have different options like TV. This is the emulator for TV, then emulator for phone, emulator for Wear OS, tablet, and automotive. For our use case, we can use phone. Then you can select any phone in this list. Like we have a tons of phones here. Let me just select Pixel XL. Then you can go next. Then you need to select the operating system which you want in your AVD. So there are, I think, 5, 6. I will select the latest R. Then go next. Then you can give a name. Let me say my pixel with API 30 with R. Okay. Then you need to go to the finish. So now you can see this AVD is created. This is a virtual device of Pixel XL. Now, in order to run this, you just need to click this play button and wait for some time. It will launch the AVD. So this is a virtual device which I have created. Just give it some time to load. Yeah, it's doing that basic stuff first to get started. Like just wait for some time. Yeah, it's now started here. You can do all other things you want to. You can install the apps, or you can you can use this AVD in your Flutter also. So this is how to create an AVD and how to use it. Now let me see what's left in the today's agenda. It's the Flutter counter app. Okay, so let me show you how to create your first app in your Flutter. First, just create a new folder, then go to inside it, and here you can left click. Device not opening. Then you can go to this open Windows terminal, or you can use the command prompt also. Then in this new folder, you need to write the command flutter create. Then what you want to create what you want your app name to be. Let's say we want my first app. Then you need to just click enter, and your app will be created. Just wait for some time. Yeah, as you can see, all done. Your application has been created. Now just go to this my app and you can see all the basic code which is used to create an app is already written here. Now in order to run this application, you need to open the VS code. Let me close other files. Then you have to go to the file, then open folder, go to this, mm, go to the navigate to the my first app. Then here, when you enter the my first app, don't go inside any other folder, just click select folder. Now you will see on the left side you have all these files. Go to the lib folder, and then you have a file called main.dart. Remember this main.dart file, it's the entry point of your program. Just like you have this main function as an entry point of your code, similarly entry point of your application is this main.dart file. In order to run this, you will see on the top right there is a start debugging and run without debugging. So you can select run without debugging and it will run your app. Uh, so by default, when you will run like this, it will create an Windows application. Just wait for some time till it's building. Till that, let me explain what are these problems, output, terminal, and debug. So first tab is this problem. Let's say if you have any issue in your code, you have done something wrong. All the errors and all the problems which you have in your program will be shown here in this problems tab. Then you have this output. So if you print something in your application, that output will be shown here. Then you have this terminal. This terminal is just like any command prompt terminal or PowerShell terminal. Here you can run any terminal commands. So it says build. So then you have this debugging console. It will show you all the you know all the things that what are happening behind the scene. Like first it has launched this lib.main file on this Windows. Then it has connected this VM service to this URL. Now if you want to see the app, this is the app. By default it is a Windows application, and this is the counter, what I have written here, this counter app. This is by default created by Flutter. It is given you as an example. So this works like this. You have to click this button and counter will increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like how many times you will click it, it will increase. Now this is a Windows application. What if you want to run this application in your Android device? Remember I said in the first day that Flutter is used to create cross-platform apps. So this was the Windows application. Now I want Android. So just click here, your emulator. Then your emulator will be launched. Now waiting for Pixel. See if you see here the name of your device. That's good. Now you need to run without debugging again and wait for some time till the application is built for the Android. Yeah, it's building now. Now you will see the this counter app in your mobile phone also. See, this is same application in the Android, and it works similarly. Like you have this counters, you can increase the counter. Now this was about the Android and the Windows. What if you want to use same you want to create the application for web, about the web application, then again go here, select it, and then choose a device. Let's say we choose this Chrome. Now first of all, stop this, then again run. Now this application will be compiled for web, and web application will be created, and it will run on the Chrome web browser. Just wait for some time. Yeah, it's building on the Chrome. This is the web application Chrome. You can see this is the web browser, and this is the web application, and it's running on this URL. So it will also work similarly. If you press this button, and it will increase the counter. So this is the power of Flutter in the cross-platform apps. You see, I have not changed any code. You just have this main.dart file, and this code is compiled to all the platforms which you want to run the application in. Like I showed you how to run Windows, how to run in Android and web. So if you have a MacBook, then you can also create apps for iOS. But if you have Windows, then you cannot run iOS apps here because you don't have any option for iOS emulator. But if you want to do that, you can do that by attaching your if you have an iPhone, then you can attach your iPhone to your computer and then do some settings. You can find that on the internet, and you can compile the iOS app also, and you can run that on your own iPhone device. But and there is not any emulator for the Android device for the Windows platform. So for if you want to use the emulator also for the iOS, then you need to have a MacBook with you. So I'm going to show you further in how to do this in the Android application. So I will just demonstrate this how this app is working, counter app in the Android. So let me again just select this Android device and run the code again. And this time I think this will be quick because we have already created the application. You can see the application here also. This was my first app. It will all automatically run. Just wait for some time. Yeah, it has finally, it's running on the device. Now yesterday when I was presenting, I showed you an important feature here, uh, productive. I said Flutter is very productive because of the function of the hot reload. Here you can see we are changing the text and it's showing here on the fly. Now I will show you how this works. Let's say we have this Flutter demo homepage. Let me change it to this. Let me change this text to my first app. Now, if you had already worked with Java or with Kotlin, you will see first of all you make the change, then you compile the code, then you run that code on the device, and then you will see the change. But Flutter is very fast. As I said, there is a feature called hot reload. You just click Control and S, and you will see the results here. See, just with the one click you see the results. So this feature saves a lot of time. You make changes in your application, like if I change the color or to red, from blue to red, and save, my whole app will be changed on the fly. I don't have to wait for compilation process and then I have to run the app. It's just doing this on the fly. So this feature is called hot reload. This is changing just when I hit the control plus save, or you can just click here, and it will hot reload the app. So there's other thing also, like let me show you from here. So this is the main function. It is the entry point of your application. Then you have this run app. This run app, it's already a function that's already created. If you want to see how this run app function is created, just click control plus select, and you will see all the code, how this run app is working. It is about, I think, this file bindings.dart. It's about 1256 lines of code. It's already written by the Flutter engineers, so that you don't have to write it again and again. So you just use this function to run any application. Then you have this my app. It's a class that I already showed you what our class is. Then this class is a stateless widget. This status widget, I have told you that yesterday. Here, stateless and stateful. Stateless are used for the static functionality, and the stateful are used for a dynamic. So this is the same stateless widget. Then you have this constructor here, my app. It will initialize this class. Then you have this build method. This build method is very important because it's the method that paints all this UI. In this build method, you see all the things, like I have material app. I will explain what is material app, and the scaffold. Here, there will be scaffold somewhere. Yeah, this scaffold, this app bar. I will explain all these widgets. These all are widgets. I will explain these tomorrow. So you see everything that we have learned so far. Like this is the dollar and this is the string interpolation. I have told you yesterday. And then we have this increment counter. This is a function. Like we have, it does not return something, but it does something. uh, we studied this function today. Then you have this int counter variable to 0. This all, what we have studied so far, we will be using all these components while writing our code. So how this app works, I'll be explaining in detail tomorrow. Now, yeah, there's one more thing. Yeah, there, if you see, if I change again it to blue color, you will see one thing. This red banner debug. So if you want to, I will show you how much easy it is to change something in the app. I said yesterday that in Flutter you can, have control of on each and every pixel. So what if I want to change, hide this debug banner? So for that you have to use one property of this material app, that is debug show check mode banner to false. If you save, this banner will be closed. Similarly, if I want to change this, plus to something else, I can do that also. Here is icons.add. I can do icons.remove. And if I save, you will see this icon will change to something else. So how this app is working, we will see it tomorrow. And then after completing this, I will move to the layouts, how you can create all these layouts, like this text and the other text, and how to arrange them. We will see that tomorrow. So I guess this was the agenda for today. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Tavish. It was a great session.
Yeah. Are there
We'll
any
just check
questions?
if
If
there
there
are.
are, I can take them.
I don't think there are any questions, but we'll still wait for 2 minutes. If you have any questions, just type them in the chat or in the Q&A. We'll take them up right now. And if not, we'll close this session. Before leaving, kindly RSVP to the link for day 3 so that we don't have to share the link again and again. I'll just stop the recording. I think there are no questions. So I'll just close
Yeah,
the
yeah.
session here.
Yeah. Thank you guys